Hey guys, it's Manny. Today we're going to go over AWS Access Key and AWS Secret Access Key to be able to make calls to AWS via the AWS CLI. This is very important if you plan to get involved with AWS, and sometimes you don't want to access the console for everything, right? So this is the best way to go about it. So first, we want to go to the Identity and Access Management (IAM), and you want to go through to your users list, right? So for example, as you know, least privilege is the best way to go. So you want to give the least privilege to any users you make. In this case, we're completely ignoring that, and we're going to create an admin for 3-4 minutes. Okay, so the user test admin. Okay, we're going to give him programmatic access, which enables an access key ID and a secret access key for the AWS API, CLI, and you can use this for the CLI as well as both 3 calls, etc. And you'll as you go learning through AWS documentation, etc., you'll see that these are other options that you have to get data and a little bit faster, right, than just going click by click through the console. So we're gonna check out the permissions. We're gonna give it admin, administrative access. Skip the tags, go to review, and we're gonna create it. Okay. So as soon as you create this, you can download the CSV. That works. So we'll do that. Save file. That's fine. We'll save it. But also, just in case you don't have it, we're just gonna go ahead and copy this. So just copy it to your notepad if you have it. Show. You're gonna copy this as well. Make sure it's the correct one. You're not adding anything. There's no space, etc., because that can cause issues in the future. Okay. Now you can close that. Okay. All right. So let's go now to VS Code. Okay. So with AWS, make sure you have the AWS installed, right? AWS CLI. You can do AWS Configure, and you'll see an access key from previous session. What you want to do is copy your access key into the field, click on enter, and then the secret access key that the console showed you, copy it there. Default region is usually going to be US East. That's fine, you can keep it there. And the default output format is JSON, but if there's YAML as well, you can choose that if you would like, but that's just a personal preference. And then once you do that, that means right now you have given your permissions to the AWS CLI to be able to access your services, right, and retrieve data. You can retrieve, so you can read and write, depending, of course, on the permissions that you gave it. In this case, we gave it administrator permissions, so we should be able to get everything that we want. So in this case, let me just go back here. Remember, this is AWS CLI version 2. So if you go to any kind of search, right, you want to find the AWS CLI version 2. Okay. So installing the AWS CLI, if you need to go there, you can. You can do it this way as well. It's just based on you, on how you want to use it. Okay. So you need to go to the AWS CLI command reference. This gives you a list of the resources or services that AWS has and what you can do. So for example, we're going to go to S3 just to make it fairly straightforward. S3 path argument, you should probably read through this just to make sure what goes where and what is being used. Single local file operations, etc. Okay, and in this case, we want to see the available commands that we can do. In this case, the synopsis, as you can see, is AWS, S3, and then the command, and then the arguments. Okay, and you can see options here if you go through the documentation. So for example, we want to list, right? List the buckets, for example. So you want to do AWS, S3, LS. Okay, that's how it will work. And if you go through the documentation, once you learn how to read it, you'll see that, for example, listing all user-owned buckets, it will give you this option. Okay, AWS S3 LS. So, and if you want to listing all prefixes and objects in a bucket, you can go and get more in detail with this. So it's pretty awesome. The power that you can do without even having to, hey, I need to go to the login. I need to go to the S3, then list, then copy, paste. No, in this case, just go to AWS, right? We have to go to S3, the resource or the service that we need to use, and then the command. And then we'll get a list of the buckets that we have there. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Another thing that you might want to do is just, of course, delete the user, right? The test admin. You're not going to be using it. Might as well just, for best practice, just delete it, okay? Security credentials. You'll see the access key here. You can make it inactive. I would just suggest just deactivating the key altogether, just in case it gets out. You can just delete it. Make sure there's no spaces there, and go back to, now the access key is gone, right? It's not here. You can create an access key if you need it, but in this case we're just deleting everything. So test admin, delete, and we're gonna test admin, delete, and that's it. That was your test. But if you want to do something else, you know how to just do extra commands, you can go ahead and do it through the VS Code terminal. That's what I'm currently using. So that's what I'm using. But that's it. If you guys have any questions, just leave it in the comments below. Thanks.